Sister Theresa, it's very interesting, your life story. And now I understand why you become involved with interreligious aspect, because Singapore is a multiracial. And there's a really need for you really to understand one another through dialogue and to work for peace, Unlike in the Philippines, in my country, we can say 70 or 80% are predominantly Catholic. We don't have as much challenges as in your case here. So my question right now is because, during the Second Vatican Council, the ecumenical, has become very active, So it's the first time I heard about interreligious. So I would like to know, what is the difference between interreligious and ecumenism?
Okay, as you mentioned, the organization started since 1949. This was not long after the war, and there were racial riots in the country.
Okay.
Differences among the different races. And races here in Singapore are also tied very much to religions.
Okay.
The Chinese then were predominantly Taoist, Buddhist. The Malays, majority were Muslims. Then, of course, Eurasians, Chinese, there are also those who were Christians, and among them the Catholics. So when 1949, a group of religious leaders saw the importance really of bringing the leaders together to create that common bond and understanding, not creating one religion. It is really to foster a relationship among themselves. So as I mentioned, Archbishop Michael Olsemandy felt the importance of this, and he started to be involved. Now with the Vatican Council too, and the document Nostra Aetate that came out in 1965, in fact, it was a Sikh member of the Interreligious organization that approached Archbishop Olsemandy and say, Your Grace, don't you think it's time that the Catholic Church is officially represented? Okay. So that was how we came into the IRO, as we call it, as a member.
Yes.
And since then, we have been involved, always having members on the council. At the moment, we have 4 Catholics on the Interreligious Organization Council. And as you are aware, the word implies interreligious dialogue involves really dialogue with people from different religions. Under the IRO, Protestants and Catholics come under the umbrella of Christianity.
Okay.
We are not separate here in Singapore.
Yes. Okay.
So Christians who are in the interreligious organization would be more open to dialogue because they see that relationship with people of other religions as important, and it contributes really to the well-being, the peace and harmony that we want to foster and grow here in our little island city-state. Ecumenism, it is true. You mentioned that with Vatican Council too, there was also an emphasis on ecumenism. We see ecumenism as an intra-dialogue, a dialogue among Christians, including the Catholics. Okay. So but here in Singapore, it is a challenge.
Yes.
For many years, we have tried to involve ourselves in ecumenism, but it's not always with success. Because of mistaken belief that, Catholics, with the way that we worship and the very common misconception that we worship Mary, so they feel that we are not Christians.
Okay.
So Catholics are very often sidelined from ecumenical dialogue. But today I can say very safely that there is a better understanding of who we are as Christians, and there is a growing acceptance that Catholics are also a member of the Christian community. So this is growing slowly, And we feel it's something that cannot rush. In a relationship with dialogue, we need to do it gently and respect where our Christian brothers and sisters are. I don't go into a dialogue with my agenda.
Yes,
I have
yes.
to respect the pace of where other people are. So in terms of here in Singapore, the misconception is that Catholics are only concerned about interreligious dialogue. That is a misconception. So we are trying to right that now. And with the new Archbishop William Goh, and the restructuring that is going on in the diocese, we are splitting up, in a way, what we had under the diocese, the Archdiocesan Council for Interreligious and Ecumenical Dialogue, and put it as two separate councils.
Okay.
The two councils that's coming up will be the Catholic Council for Interreligious Dialogue and the Catholic Council for Ecumenical Dialogue. I think this will help to, in a way, project to the public in general that these two are distinct. We cannot interchange ecumenism for interreligious or interreligious for ecumenism. You know, and yet they are linked, because once we are in dialogue,
Yes.
in the interreligious field or in the ecumenical field, our hearts will be open to embrace all. Because the only way whereby we can share the message of Christ, the gospel, is when we build this good relationship with others. It cannot be imposed. Trust has to be earned, respect has to be earned.
yes.
And through the interreligious dialogue, we have always been able to do that. So interreligious dialogue is not just the work of the Catholic Church or the Christians. We have all this while been able to engage the religious leaders of the other religions, and there's a genuine relationship that we share among ourselves. Even when Catholics, when I was in the Vatican working with the Pontifical Council for Interreligious Dialogue, and things were happening, and sometimes it creates unhappiness with the Catholics and, example, the Muslims.
Yes.
Here in Singapore, we have the Muslim community speaking on our behalf, explaining why things have happened, you know. And I think really this is a proof of the good relationship that we have here in Singapore with religious leaders.
It's very clear that there is squabbling between Christian and Catholic, and then the Muslim or whatever religious, but the Singaporean, because of interreligious organization that has been there, it's now protecting, right?
Yes.
The Catholic here, you know. Magbabalik po ang Power Tonight with Elvira.